Hey people, welcome to the channel. This is gonna be a video about bug out bags and the kit you may want to have around for emergencies, some of the tools you may want to add as well. But overall, this is gonna be the first video of a series of videos about bug out bags, kits, get home bags, and how you organize these things so as to have it work best for you, all right? Before I go on, remember that you have the channel full of information already. You can just use the search function and find a number of topics over the years that I've uploaded. And remember that you have the comments as well there. If you have any question, any suggestion of topics you'd like me to do in future videos, that by all means, let me know and I'll do my best. Also, you have my books, Street Survival Skills, Surviving the Economic Collapse, and the book about bugging out and relocating. These three books will really help you get a lot better prepared, and it's a way in which I condense a lot of knowledge acquired over the years, which will really accelerate that learning curve in a way that just doing these things on your own, it will really take you years, because this is what I do. This is my profession. I've been doing this for many years, and there's a lot of time invested, which I want to share with you with my books. So in this first video, I want to explain a few basics as of how this works. And yes, of course, specifically in Street Survival Skills, but also, yeah, in bugging out and relocating, I go deep into how this is basically a system. It's not just about, oh yes, I have my bug out bag and that is it. Well, not really. It depends. It's going to be depending on a number of things. And we usually focus on, well, what tool is it that I have? What knife? My knife is better than yours. No. The first thing, knowledge. That is key. I lost count of how many times I've talked with people or read about incidents in which, without having anything at all, the knowledge is what got people out of trouble. Out of a number of things, from dangerous situations, crimes, self-defense, to natural disasters. Man, it's about the knowledge. It's about that ability to learn from what others have gone through and acquire those. Yes, at times it may be skills, but most of all is making the right decision when it matters, when that window of opportunity is still open. That's something I really try to emphasize a lot in my books and in the channel here as well. And also, when it comes to tools, the most important one is, yes, your own body. After knowledge is your body, your main tool, the most important tool you have in this life, which is you. How well are you taking care of that? Are you what? Very heavy? Are you just too fat? Do you have to lose weight? Do you have to eat better? You're thin, but you have a very sedentary lifestyle. You just cannot walk long distances. Well, take care of that. I mean, yes, it is super easy to click on something and buy it online. And yes, I will leave links there below for my books and maybe some of the other tools that you may be interested in. And yes, absolutely, I super appreciate if you go and buy stuff with those links, right? Awesome. Now, let's be real. You need to take care about yourself first. That is the most important tool. Nothing else matters more than that main physical element that you have to get you out of trouble. Sometimes literally so. Sometimes it's the ability to get off the X, get out of the whatever is going on, and you're gonna be fine. Some people cannot do that. It's not just about walking, running, having physical strength. What I'm going at here is look after yourself, eat healthy, work out. I mean, if you're already an athlete, I mean, congratulations, that's fantastic. If not, try doing better. A little bit of cardio, walking, running, lifting, moving heavy things. I like these ones. The dumbbells are very nice. You can do more dynamic and explosive movements, which have its own benefits. I'm a little bit of guilty of using the elliptic trainer more than actually going out and walking, which I'm doing more lately. I mean, I've always done that quite a bit, but it's always easy to just put something on the tablet and just plant yourself on the trainer for an hour or two. And yes, that's gonna be exercise. It's gonna be you're gonna be sweating and your heart is gonna be working, but your mind benefits a lot more when you actually go outside and walk, run short distances, whatever it is that you're capable of, little by little building up on that. But there's a lot of research these days about the benefits to your brain, to your eyes, your entire nervous system of seeing the scenery pass, natural light in your eyes, the distance that your brain is calculating as you. It is a lot of benefits that we are just now scratching the surface of what this does for you in terms of just compared to just running on a machine or using an elliptic trainer and just having your eyes stuck to yet another screen, right? So that's the first thing I want to address. And then there's going to be different needs that you have. And again, this works in layers. Maybe your first layer is your pocket EDC, the stuff we talk about here all the time. These are things that I go well into in my books, but your EDC, your pocket EDC, your EDC bag, if you're someone that you're out and about a lot, depending on the kind of lifestyle that you have, what you do on a daily basis, that's maybe very little or a lot. I have no idea. You are going to have to figure that on your own. I'll try to do my best helping you out. But you have maybe a kit in your vehicle. You have another bag in your car, or maybe several, right? Depending on where you live, your car may be a serious piece of equipment in terms of your survivability in worst case scenarios, especially if you live in more isolated places, in more demanding weather climates and geographic locations. It's not the same thing living in a cabin in Alaska in the middle of nowhere, or living in the suburbs where you can easily walk to your next door neighbor without any issue, any problem, right? These are all massive differences. And of course, for the enormous majority of us, we're not several miles away from the nearest road. We are usually more urban, right? That is simply the nature of how life is these days. It actually is the complete opposite. You have to actually go looking for isolation these days, because if not, it is kind of not as common. Yeah, and maybe less and less so as time passes. The demands that you will have in terms of weather are going to be completely different. If you live in a cold weather location, you may need a lot more of jackets, hats, gloves, and so on in case you have to walk. If it's a hot weather climate, then you may have some other needs. It also changes not only where you are, but and the weather you're dealing with. It depends on you. You're not going to be the same person now. For example, I'm just explaining here. I have my bag, my wife's, my kids, right? My kids, they're, kids grow. If you have a 5-year-old, you don't have a bug out bag for your 5-year-old. You're supposed to carry that yourself. If you have a baby, you will have diapers. You will have other things that are specifically for that need. Now, 10 years later, you will have no diapers. You will probably have another bag for that teenager that is perfectly capable and should carry that himself and know how to use the contents, right? So all of these things change. And eventually one day when you're old and not nearly as strong as you are now, and maybe growing older and older, you will have to, limit maybe a little bit of the weight you carry, because it's not the same thing anymore. Examples of how you need to adjust all of this to your own specific situation. And I have a few tools here, right? So a decent knife, I have a Glock knife there, cold steel, Bowie machete, short machete there. I was actually watching a video about this African tribe that seemed to be living like in the more of a prayer kind of geography, not very large vegetation or anything, but more like bush, and they still had a larger knife, because they would be, you could see them like hacking away at this vegetation that was not very big. They didn't need an axe, but the tiny knife wouldn't have been as handy. Thin, large-ish knife like that short Bowie, that's the kind of thing they had with them. Pointy, big old, like a chef knife, right? Something like that. And they would just hack away at the vegetation and cut stuff and so on. That will be dictated by your needs, right? I also have pry bars. Does the Bushman need pry bars? Well, I don't know. Maybe he just uses a stick. But I do remember a comment that I got a couple years ago from in my Spanish channel, someone that had gone through an earthquake, and because he had seen a video where I talked about pry bars and so on, he saw that the movement caused his door to jam. So he needed a pry bar to open the door, right? That is a very specific need that you may end up having one day. You live in a earthquake prone location, that's going to be part of your preparations, right? Same thing goes for these other tools. You live in a place where there's large dangerous animals, maybe a .308 rifle, maybe something like that. I need protection against bears. Well, yeah, that could be one of the things you use, or something as versatile as a shotgun, especially something as short as this one, semi-automatic 4+1 shotgun. Yeah, slugs in that thing, it will be ideal to defend yourself against a large animal. 12 gauge loaded with slugs, semi-automatic. Just as soon as you just pulling a trigger, sends it around down range. Yeah, and it's short, it's handy, absolutely. Maybe your needs are completely different and you live in a very densely populated area, and the tool you have for this sort of thing is just a Glock, and that's it. That's going to be fitting that role just well. Or an AR with a bunch of magazines. I don't know, maybe you live in a very tough place and that's the kind of thing you will need. But what I'm going for here is you need to adapt whatever we end up talking about in this series of videos to your specific scenario, your own circumstances. I'm just giving you a few ideas. And I'll also take this opportunity to check out and update anything that needs to be done here in my own bags. One of the things I will check out is these, the walkie-talkies that I mentioned in another video that I sometimes take these. Well, these are from those bags. If we're traveling and we need to have something in case we need to stay communicated, these are very handy. And I got them out of the bags. We take them and we come back, we just put them back in the bags where they're supposed to be. That gives us an opportunity to check batteries, make sure they're charged properly, gives everyone a chance of handling and maybe revisiting how is it that you're supposed to use these things and some of these concepts. So all of this will be done in the following videos as we go on, okay? So that's going to be all for now. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell button so as to not miss the upcoming videos on this topic, which I think is going to be quite interesting. See you next time. Take care.